1, 2, 3, bah. This is Arla Cruz with another review. I'm doing the review for the original Omen, Richard Donner, and then the new one, which I don't know who the director is of the new one. Okay, let's get to all the paperwork. I talked about many months ago, about doing horror review from, you know, like certain films that I like watching, certain films, horror films. But compare the original one with the remake. So we're up to the Omen. Now, my only complaint with this is the packaging. It's just they could have just had this plastic like all other packagings for like franchise movies or TV shows. This in plastic, hard plastic, and the inserts, you know, you could have the movies in this. This is go inside the hard case, but no, it's all paper, all of it. And obviously you wouldn't think this would happen, because I think these things, these pockets or whatever, would hold the movies, but they don't. I had lifted it, I had it in my hands upside down, and all the Blu-rays came tumbling out with all the paperwork. So it was directed by Richard Donner. And he's famous for action movies, but especially the Lethal Weapon movies. This film that was in the years 1976 was nominated for 2 Oscars. One, Best Original Score by Jerry Goldsmith. Whatever. Translated the book into screenplay was David Seltzer. He didn't want anything to do with the rest of these films, so he just wrote the first one. The DP is Gilbert Tyler. The editors, there were 2, Stuart Bard and Ralph Kemplon. The second one didn't want anything to do with the rest of the films. I mean, no, he was non-credit. He didn't get his. He wasn't a credit towards this movie, the editing of it. The budget was 2.8, and it made over $60.9 million. The actors, oh, don't forget the actors. Gregory Peck, which was the ambassador, the English ambassador. Lee Romnick, his wife. And Harvey Stephens, which was Damien. So basically it's about a senator with his wife that they get, he gets to be the U.S. ambassador for England. And his wife is pregnant. They're starting a family and all that. And then eventually you'll find out by watching this film that this kid isn't, you know, he lied to everybody that Damien was his national birth son, but he isn't. And I mean, you haven't seen his movies by now. I mean, come on, he ends up being a child of the devil. And you know, pretty much everything that should go right goes wrong in this film, and it's all right. Let's talk about the remake. Okay, this is the paperwork for the Omen, the remake. So the director is John Moore. Never heard of him. The writer is David Seltzer, who originally wrote the original Omen. The DP was Jonathan Sella. Music, the composer was Marco Beltrami. The actors, Julia Stiles, Live Schreiber, and Mira Farrow. This was done in 2006. 120 million is how much it made at the box office. The budget was 25 million. The length was an hour and 50 minutes. Editor Dan Zimmerman. Okay, this segment of the show is about the comparison of the two Omen movies. So let's see. Obviously, the new one had more money and made more money because there's more theaters probably open. Horror movies in the 70s, even though there's a lot of good ones, especially in the 80s, too, which I love the 80s, and even before the 70s, there were less theaters than there are now. Now there's a theater, like, every mall has a fucking theater. So, I prefer the original Omen because I grew up with it. Maybe I shouldn't have been watching these films, but whatever. I don't think I'm gonna do anything crazy. So this the new one, they use more animation for getting the effect instead of using prosthetics and stuff like that. The new one is more gorier, has more gore than the original. Because if they, audiences have changed since the original came out, so they got to come up with a new way to scare people, a new way to shock people, while still staying within the confines of the story. Because for the story, it's basically the same thing, Not much differences there, just differences, small differences in how certain scenes get explained more in the new one than the old one. Like well, I'm not gonna say what, but just certain scenes that may have been like quick, I guess, because they're working on a budget and they didn't have time to do a lot of things. In this one, they had a way bigger budget, $25 million for the new Omen. The orchestra, the music was pretty good in both of them. I prefer the one in the original, but probably people call it cheesy. What else? I saw that there's the Damien in the new one has more to say, more to do. Actually, hear him talk more, because I think the original one only talked a little bit. Only, I guess, when he had to freak out going to the church, and at the end when he's begging for his dad not to kill him. So let me see what else. I like Gregory Peck more than Liv Schreiber. Just my preference. I don't know, especially with the scenes that with the couple, with his wife, the U.S. ambassador. Just you got good chemistry, and in this one, I don't know if they have as well a good chemistry as in the first one. That's just what I picked up. Schreiber seems a little cold in this. I don't know. I'm not gonna say he's a bad actor because he's done some good movies, and on top of my head, I can't come up with any at the moment. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the original. Even though it's older, I think though, even though animation and everything, the technology is always advancing, it's fast. Sometimes for good or worse, I don't know. I think that there's a lot of good older films that are out there, and they're just waiting to be remade for a new generation. And I just think that sometimes, especially in horror, I like the prosthetic effects. Because, you look at the animation, and it just doesn't look real. It just doesn't. Even though some of the effects in the original one are kind of don't stand up, but there are a lot of films that their prosthetics and the animatronics and stuff I think works, because you look at a film that's been touched with a whole bunch of special effects, you can tell right away that all this is fake. So it's not like so how they do it with a computer. Now with the other ones, the prosthetics is a whole different ballpark of work. So it's like, oh, you wonder how they did it, because it's not just died to a computer. It was made by a human. Even though, you know, the animation is you know, the human is the one that's on the computer. I just think that a lot more work goes into that than the computer animation, because everything is like computer animation now for everything. Oh, we can't do it in computer animation. Or if it's usually like out of the two, which is cheaper, which one's faster. That's the concerns with them, because they want to get it done. You know, they have a release date, all that. So I could see why you'd hire less people to do it. And it's not something that, you know, that's sometimes, I don't know, it's a hit or miss, but I prefer older films. I think I like older films in all different types of genres, horror especially. So that's all I have to say. I'm done here. And you don't have to leave, but the balcony is closed.